This is how you remake a franchise. What's going on, everybody? Let's talk about the Wrong Turn 2021 remake, written by the original writer of the first Wrong Turn, Alan B. McElroy. This guy also wrote Halloween 4, one of my personal favorite Halloween sequels. And yeah, this one stars Matthew Modine and from Full Metal Jacket, and it's also got Damian Matthew from Strangers Prey at Night and Haunt. He's one of the killers in those movies, so we got some horror alumni in here, so to speak. I didn't really recognize anybody else, but those are the two big people that stuck out to me. So let's get into the movie, shall we? What's it all about? Despite warnings to stick to the Appalachian Trail, hikers stray off course and cross into land inhabited by a hidden community of mountain dwellers who use deadly means to protect their way of life. Suddenly under siege, the friends seem headed to the point of no return unless one man can reach them. So let's go into the positives. What are the things that I like about Wrong Turn? This was going to be called Wrong Turn, the Foundation, I think, but it's just called Wrong Turn now. Backwards R. It seems like what everyone's doing nowadays. They're just calling it Wrong Turn, Scream, Halloween. We don't use numbers no more, but this is a remake, so I can actually understand why it's called Wrong Turn. Because, it's a remake. It's not like Scream 5 calling itself Scream or Halloween 2018 calling itself Halloween. Like, I'm sick of that crap. Put a number on it. But this is a remake, so I can forgive it being called Wrong Turn. But what I like about this movie is that it is a remake that is a remake. It is a reimagination. It is not cannibal hillbillies in the woods picking off dipshit teens that you couldn't give a crap about, having sex and doing drugs. That's what the franchise became, especially like 4, 5, and 6. It was just horny teenagers flashing their tits, getting picked off in creative, gruesome ways, and I like seeing gore. I'm a gorehound. I like that stuff, but those characters and the acting and the quality of those films took a nosedive. But this one actually brings some quality back to the franchise, and it tells a different story. This is how you should remake a film. Kind of like the Child's Play remake that some people like to shit on. That is a reimagination. It is something different. It still has some of the heart and soul of the original movie, the killer doll aspect. This one holds on to the woods and the people setting traps. That's really all they retain here, is the wood setting and people setting Rambo-like traps that you saw in especially the sequels in the Wrong Turn franchise, because there wasn't really traps in the first one now that I think about it, but that's all they do. They just take little things from the first one, and that's it. This is a different story, and you don't need to watch all those other 6 movies to, before going into this one to understand what's happening. Also, the performances overall in this movie are terrific. I really like, especially the main actress. I don't know her name, sorry, but she was really good. And Matthew Modine, he's a seasoned actor. He's done all kinds of stuff, so he gave a good performance. I really like his character. He's a character that you can root for. He's like the Rob Dyer from the final chapter of Friday the 13th. He's going into the woods to look for his lost daughter. And I really like that subplot in this movie. His character was interesting to me. He was someone that I could root for. And you didn't get that in the other movies. There was nobody to root for in the other films. And this one actually gives you somebody who is engaging and gives a good performance and that you can give a crap about. I also just really like the final girl in this movie. She, especially in the second half, she has a really good arc in the film, and you can root for her. She gives a terrific performance, and there's some subversion of expectations. Just you think it's going to go this way, you think this is going to happen, but nope. Like a little thing I'll spoil. It's not really a spoiler, trust me. But just the opening. You think it's going to be like the opening of the first Wrong Turn, cars crash into each other, or just a car crash, a tire pops, but then it hard cuts and she's fixing a tire instead. They didn't do the typical, they swerve and they hit a tree and now the car's broken. That's in a million horror movies. I like that they made you think it was going that route, but it's no, she's fixing the tire in the next scene. Just little stuff like that. But there's bigger subversion of expectations later on in the film that I won't spoil here. And there's no jump scares. The scares in this movie are not in your face. There's no loud music. It's got a good score. It's got a stringed instrument that's out of tune sound to it. It's very ominous. They use it well. And it's got a intense, suspenseful third act. I think that's where this movie is the strongest, is the second half, especially the third act. It really picks up steam for me, and where things just get really like batshit crazy. There's a lot of violent scenes in the movie, not like overly gruesome and like gratuitous with the gore or anything, but there is some, aftermath gore in this film and enough violent sequences in the film to satisfy your bloodlust. And also, what I liked about the movie is the ending. I won't spoil what happens in the film, but it's a satisfying ending. It's not the typical ending that we got in a lot of the other sequels where they just show a killer pop up and it's like, oh, there's a sequel coming. This is a fist-pumping ending, and I loved it. And I heard that it was an alternate ending. It was like a last-minute idea, and thank God for it. Love the way this film ended. And yeah, and I like that this movie has somewhat, of a message. It actually has something to say. It's not just a movie showcasing kills like the other films. I keep comparing, but sorry, it's a movie in the franchise. It actually has something to say, whether it's subtle or not. The subtext doesn't matter. It at least has something that they're going for here. So I like that. As for any things I didn't care about, I felt like the first act could have been tightened a little bit. It was just dragging slightly because I wasn't into these characters, the way they're set up. And I get that you're supposed to hate some of these characters for the story that they're going for, but it kind of hurt the film because a lot of these characters I didn't really know all that well, and the ones I did know, they were just dicks, and I just wanted to see them die, so therefore I'm just kind of waiting for them to die. So the first half of the film kind of struggled for me. The first 30, 40 minutes, I was just kind of like, whatever, I just want to see these people die. But then the second half is where the film really picks up steam for me. And so yeah, just the fact that the main protagonists were written to be very unlikable, and some of them you didn't really get much set up to at all. They just kind of felt like, boxes being checked. I didn't really care about some of these characters. The main final girl, that chick, I don't know the actress's name. I don't even remember the character's name, but I'm not good with names. But her and her dad, who's like the Rob Dyer in the film, those are the best characters. They're the ones that you root for. But everyone around them, I didn't really care too much. They weren't really engaging. They weren't entertaining. There was no one that was funny. Nothing like that. No dialogue that was, blowing me away or anything. It was just kind of a little bit slow in the first 15, 20 minutes. And so I feel like they should have maybe explored this foundation in the second half a little bit more. I would have liked to see more of their community and how they're living up there. Just maybe see a little bit more of that. And there was just some silly writing moments, just little things like killers that just seem to be ninjas, and they're just so quiet. They're kidnapping some of them very quietly. They don't make a single sound in the woods, or they just seem to be teleporting at times, like they're Jason and Jason Takes Manhattan. You're like, how the fuck did they do that? And then the whole tree log thing I thought was the most ridiculous scene in the movie. The thing that's in the trailer, so I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. The giant tree log, that whole scene just felt ridiculous to me. I felt like that could have been handled better, but yeah, I enjoyed the movie. It's overall thoughts, I thought this is definitely a step up from the last 3 or 4 movies in the franchise. Definitely. I would say it's probably even better than the original. I will be doing a ranking here soon, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, this is a movie with really good performances and some gruesome kills in it. Nothing to the caliber of what you got in the later sequels, nothing like that. There's no slicing and dicing. But yeah, it was a good time. So if you're a fan of the Wrong Turn franchise, I highly recommend checking this one out. It's a breath of fresh air. It's something different, but it gives you a little bit of what you're familiar with in the franchise, the wood setting, the traps. It's very much like Rambo at times, but give it a shot. Expect it to be different from the franchise. And when this movie comes out next month on Blu-ray and DVD, I recommend that you go out and buy it. And those are my thoughts on the new Wrong Turn movie. What are your thoughts on this film? Where do you put it in your franchise ranking? I'm curious if anybody thinks it's better than the original. A lot of people have love for that original. But yeah, let me know what you thought about it. Is this better? Is it one of the better remakes? Let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here, you can hit this like button and become a subscriber today just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And until next time, Alpha Feed.